Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome back to the Football Chat Studio, where today we are back in the glorious studio. Finally!
It's not just me!
Boris Johnson has lifted the lockdown rules, and not all of them, but most of them.
Some of them.
Basically allowing us to now return to the studio. Now, real life videos aren't the only thing that will be returning. TFC Live this weekend. Keep your eyes peeled for the stream page and make sure to set a reminder. It's going to be on Sunday for the final day of the Premier League. But before we get into that, to dampen the mood a little bit, VAR, that's the thing that we're going to be discussing today. Mr. Jazzer11 Jack was on the phone. He was going, I can't believe it. VAR again. Yeah. And I was saying, we've known it. We've known it for years now. VAR, it isn't good enough. No. Jack, talk me through your thoughts and feelings about VAR at this current point of time.
Well, it's just not good enough. It's been too long. It doesn't do what it's supposed to do. It was supposed to take away the obvious errors. It was supposed to just make sure that... Make sure the obvious things were checked. But all it does is takes away the very small things that would never be noticed. That no one would ever talk about.
And then this also sways the focus of the fact that the referees don't look at the monitors enough. They do look more than they did, but it's an improvement, but it's still not enough.
And the refs are so incompetent, and the rules don't make sense half the time.
I think also, some people would also say that it's not just VAR, it's the people working at VAR aren't good enough in enforcing the rules and doing the VAR function correctly. And it does make you question, are these guys real referees, or have they just grabbed Mike down from the pub and you've gone, right, just here's £100, do VAR for us.
They've been paid by the owners.
Probably, yeah.
Here's a cheeky 200.
Yeah, not by the FA, but they're actually the owners of the clubs. Have probably paid them. But it's there's a lot of issues with VAR, and I'm aware that we've discussed this so many times, so many people have. But it's been a while, to be fair, since we've really had a full-on VAR rant. The last time we did that was was roughly when it was kind of introduced in that first season. But it's been a while now. Things have got better in certain aspects of the issue.
Yeah.
But
it's better, but it's still not brilliant.
But it's still not brilliant, and it's executed much better in other leagues and other sides of football. So the real question is, why is the Premier League the best league in the world? But I don't think anyone could debate against that.
No, it's definitely the best.
Why do they not have the best technology, the best referees, the best officiating system?
Why do they have the worst referees?
What is going wrong? And I guess it's not just VAR that comes into this issue. It's the referees, it's the officiating, the rules. There's a big issue with English football, and this is why some of the people are saying that it's almost the end of football as we know it. That may be a bit over-exaggerated, but it does ruin, and it does change a lot. And I think that's why a lot of people are deciding now to go and support non-league clubs and clubs lower down in the divisions. Because they know, you're not going to have, Spencer ain't going to have the likes of, VAR ruining their game and them getting out their dodgy lines that doesn't even work. Because when you think about it, I mean, we might as well transition back into VAR here. The lines that they bring out, the camera doesn't have the correct angle anyway. Yeah. Because it's going, so there's always going to be someone who has the deficit automatically from the way that the camera is pointing.
Well, just the rules are so fuzzy. Things like arms being offside just makes no sense.
I've also heard that some cameras that they use don't even have enough pixels, and they can't even load it correctly, so they can't even tell.
So been off Sky, getting TFC.
Why are they doing it by the finest of margins when they said we're introducing it for clear and obvious decisions? They have got rid of obvious. They've got rid of more millimetre decisions than clear and obvious, and that's the issue. That's the big issue that keeps being brought up.
And it's caused more controversy. It's brought in to try and get rid of the controversy, because people don't want to be talking about the decisions the ref made. They want to be talking about the good quality of game. But it turned out the next day it'd always be poor refereeing decisions. But all it's done is made it so the next day all we talk about is VAR.
Yeah, we're talking about VAR. Yeah, literally. It's a thing that we don't want to do too often, but there's always stuff evolving with it. And it's, as we said, it's not just VAR, it's the officiating
has a role to play in every game now. Yeah. It seems like it's trying to take centre stage of every single game. Yeah.
It's changing football so much. It's not just VAR, it's the officiating, it's the rules as well. The rules that they're bringing in. Because yes, VAR's terrible, but also the rules. Some of the rules that they are using,
it's so fuzzy.
that VAR enforces is just
it's like the lockdown rules. There's a way you can get around it, but there's also like you don't know if you've broken them.
I mean, prime example here was we're currently filming this on a Monday. Yeah. Yesterday, what was it? West Brom's goal was chalked off for an offside.
No, it's supposed to be the guy in front. I think Matt Phillips,
who was offside,
impeding the keeper, and he was offside.
The keeper.
But I don't think that it didn't matter.
But it shows how complex and complicated the rules are. We don't know that this is a rule. And when the refs don't
seem like they know the rules well enough to be able to officiate the game, that doesn't fill me with any confidence.
It doesn't fill you with any confidence at all. The fact that some, people higher up in that hierarchy, some of them probably don't understand the rules to its full. There's so many things as well.
Should know the rules.
Yeah, there's so many things. I think this is also. I guess this also brings along the whole thing of diving in football.
Yeah,
I feel like that has been kind of brought on with the rule changes. I feel like
it's that you see less of it with VAR because you can kind of see contact, but then it's just basically what it does. Instead of getting rid of these clear and obvious decisions and these controversy and that, it just makes it so that we all look at it on that time and then also discuss it after.
So and how many times have VAR come out of a game and said, you know what, hands up, we made the wrong decision? They don't do it every single time, but they have done it before where they've either come out and actually put their hands up and said, yeah, apologies, that should have been this, that should have been that.
But it's like, well, why didn't you roll it like that?
But sometimes they won't do that, and yet the majority will think it's an incorrect decision. It happens a lot where the majority would disagree against a VAR decision.
It feels like they should be like redoing games. So if the game is impacted massively by VAR, then replay it. Problem is, obviously, with the tight fixture congestion at the moment, that'll be incredibly hard to do. We noticed with Liverpool and United's game was called off because of the fan protest. United then had to play on a Thursday, Tuesday, Sunday, and Thursday. So
that's a massive issue. It's already there's already complaints. There was complaints from Jurgen Klopp earlier on in the season about the amount of games. Not only Jurgen Klopp,
and yet they're increasing it. The Champions League are moving up to 20. Anyway, we've got a long tangent from VAR.
I think that's the thing with VAR though. It branches out so wide because, as you said, it affects everything that takes place in football. I think it's also going back to the big decider in football: money. It wouldn't come across. Let's face it. If we didn't have all the money in football, yes, obviously, it probably was destined to come at one point or another because there was always going to be this amount of money in football at one point or another. But it's just another thing that they've introduced and they've not done it correctly. We can go back to the point.
They do it so poorly though, because sports like cricket and rugby have brought in their systems perfectly.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Just doesn't know what it's doing.
That's what I was going to say. The way that rugby have implemented it, I thought was very good. The way that other footballing leagues have implemented it, they've implemented it so much better. I can't remember when it was. But I was speaking to a fan after a game. I've got a feeling
it's very good with it.
I've got a feeling it was it was Liverpool versus. It might have been it was one of the European games, and I was speaking to a Liverpool fan after the game, and they were saying how well it was officiated VAR wise. They were saying, oh yeah, they've got the VAR checks been done, but they didn't even realise it was being done.
I mean, other than you have the odd ones like City versus I think it was Liverpool or Tottenham a few years ago, where Sterling scored in the last minute, was chalked off for no apparent reason. But it's decisions like that. But it is better implemented in Champions League games. And I do think the refs are better. You know, people like Felix Brick have been good.
I don't know. Maybe it was just me that I had the thoughts that European referees were seen not that many years ago as worse.
If you look at people like Mark Clattenburg, I know he's gone now. He was awful. Anthony Taylor's clearly got like an agenda against Chelsea. I mean, he's throwing away. Trying to give the opposition a win every time.
The thing is that we don't want to put too much blame on them. Obviously, referees and people at VAR, they have a lot of pressure on them. It's a job that no one wants to do, but they've got to do it correctly. And a lot of them don't do it. I think another thing you've got as well is that if Mike Dean now gets called, he says they say he's biased for Tottenham, let's say, which is quite a common thing for people to say. He might, next Tottenham game, he'll come out and he'll go almost against Tottenham to make it not seen. Yeah. But then that's just totally.
That's the point.
Yeah, it's
But it's also the idiots that go and abuse them online. The referees, it's just
that's
stupid.
the issue. I think it ends as soon as they walk off the football pitch. It should end.
Yeah.
Well, there should be no abuse.
We shouldn't have to talk about the refereeing decisions. The problem with VAR is it makes us talk about it, and then it leads these idiots to go and abuse the refs online.
Yeah.
If we
by no means are we.
The refs wouldn't.
We totally condemn any kind of abuse towards a referee, a player. I mean, this is what everyone's trying to clamp down on, not only in football but everything. Yeah, everyone on social media is trying to clamp down on online abuse, not only to sportsmen, sportswomen, but also just in general. And it's a big issue. And I think the reason it gets brought up is because there are these dodgy decisions from VAR. The only thing I'd say is that you want constructive. I know it's very hard because the odds are the VAR aren't going to go.
Everyone's passionate about it.
Stockley Park aren't going to go scrolling through Twitter. Yeah, they're not going to go scrolling through Twitter and go, "Oh yeah, it's a fair point. Let's take that on board." But you probably, we would urge fans to be a bit more constructive with it.
I do think the FA need to listen to fans more. Almost have a fans, supporters, trust kind of thing. They can communicate with fans of the game as well as the professionals.
Recently, it's really been shown how much, fans are... Like
club Super League.
Yes,
fans
I think
so
it shows...
To the way
I think it shows,
is.
Fans should be put first in football. Yeah. And I think that's arose many issues, not only to do with the owners at clubs, but just in general, giving fans a bigger say in just the club's decisions, the FA decisions.
Well, I've noticed both our VAR clubs, Chelsea and Tottenham, have now decided to let fans into the boardroom meeting, which is massive.
Yeah.
That goes a long way, but I do think they should implement the 50+1 rule in the Premier League.
Yeah, like they had in Germany, which prevented the European Super League. So
they couldn't leave Dortmund and Bayern and Leipzig. I don't know if Leipzig, but I know Dortmund and Bayern couldn't leave.
Yeah.
So it would be a good system.
It is a very good system. But as we said, we've gone on another tangent, but it keeps going back, to VAR. It's a huge issue in Premier League. I think Premier League especially. There's obviously other leagues that suffer with poor VAR and poor refereeing decisions. But the best league in the world should have the best technology, the best referees, the best officiating, the best rule book in the world. And simply put, it's not.
It was about the Super League and that, why wouldn't these clubs want to leave? With the refereeing decisions on show and how poor VAR is,
it's another thing.
Why wouldn't these clubs want to leave for the Super League? Like, they can go and decide there
are upsides to the European Super League. Yes, I think...
well, for the clubs, I mean, it's obviously an awful idea and, it wouldn't be a viable option, but... we do need to think about things like that to keep the clubs from leaving and trying to set up their own things.
Yeah, you've got to make the league... there's just so many issues with the Premier League at the moment. Yeah. Obviously, #Rest in Peace Football. I think that came along European Super League times. And I think we both agreed that it was a bit over the top. Yeah. But the point stands it's going to be a big change to football. I think not only the European Super League, but I think just these... decisions, the technology that's being brought in, it needs to be implemented correctly. And we keep saying it. There's just so many. We could probably list off quite a few decisions that have just. And there's just so many where they bring out the line. So I guess now we say, what do we do? What do you think we could do? Because FA, let's say they're watching. I'm sure they're big fans. Hello, FA. I'm sure they're big fans. What do they do?
There's a big problem, firstly, with the play, because obviously if you're watching your team and then they get a VAR decision go their way, then you're gonna
be praising
even if it's the wrong decision, you're gonna be praising it. They've gone and saved me there. And like Liverpool fans, I've been talking to them obviously after they got very lucky to beat West Brom, and that could give them European football. They're obviously buzzing that VAR made those decisions, which to everybody else is like, that's wrong, but to them it's like, well, that could give us our way through to Europe now. So the problem is, the fans we need to be more honest with ourselves when decisions are wrong, about even if it has benefited our own clubs.
I think for FA, as I was going to get onto the point of, if FA, let's say they were watching, theoretically...
I mean, obviously.
I'm sure, Sky Sports in the bid, CFC, they're I'm sure in the headquarters they have the big TVs and we're on the big screens. But to the point, if FA were watching now, what would you say? What should the FA do with VAR? What rule changes could they do to make the fans happier. And this is obviously, some of you might disagree. And if you do, please comment down below some constructive criticism. Leave a comment, please do. Start a conversation down below regarding VAR in general, or just anything to do with football. And we might reply. But yeah, what would you say?
I think I've been a massive advocate for VAR, and I've always said, it's the refs and the system's going to be good, and that if we had people with officiating properly...
It's a good idea, but it's the people.
I just think it's gone too far now.
Good YouTube title.
It's gone too far.
VAR's gone too far.
I just think it's gone too far now that we should just scrap it. Nobody wants to see, for example, the FA Cup final. As much as it annoys me about the Perez handball, it wouldn't have annoyed me as much as when Chilwell's goal was all ruled offside for literally millimetres. And the way that, us Chelsea fans, we're celebrating that goal, we're going crazy, just for it to all be ruled off by VAR, and then that's it.
And then you've also got the other extent. I find myself a lot of the time, when a through ball's played, you go, you get
was that offside?
A couple of seconds, you get of celebrating, then you go,
we
calm down. You don't get
celebrate a goal anymore.
You don't get the full... you don't get the full celebrations until VAR, and by the time they've done the full-on check for 3 minutes, your hype's kind of gone. Obviously, you're going to celebrate it again, but you don't get the full reactions, and that is something that I think I've seen other football shows like the Kickoff mentioned before, back when it originally got introduced.
It kills the atmosphere.
Kills the atmosphere, stadiums, and even just, for instance, in the TFC studio, you're going to see a difference with VAR and without VAR. If there's a through ball played, they're going to go instantly, you're going to celebrate that you've scored the goal, but then, some fans might not even instantly celebrate.
The anger of it being ruled off by VAR, because as soon as VAR pops up on your screen, in the little corner, you go, that's just awful. I've just gone mental celebrating this goal. I've woken up the neighbours.
Like clowns,
And then it's just that was for nothing. I've celebrated, but now I feel stupid, because we're not winning anymore. And we've now lost the FA Cup final. Just by a millimetre. And that's what frustrates a lot of fans. Because if no one's checking that on Sky Sports the next day, no one's going, oh my god, he was offside by an armpit hair, someone go and take the trophy off
This is the thing, that it was implemented for these decisions that after a game...
For the obvious decisions, not the tight ones that nobody
It was introduced for the times that after a game you'd go, that's so obviously offside, he's got let's say, half, his whole body's offside.
He stood 2 metres offside.
Yeah, that's it was implemented so it wouldn't have that. But back in 5 years ago, before it was implemented, they were never going, hang on a minute, his armpit hair's offside. This is outrageous. If only we had VAR. VAR was implemented for the clear and obvious decisions. And I think that's what we need to go back to.
It gets the clear and obvious decisions wrong.
Yes, it needs to just focus on the clear and obvious decisions. If it's a millimetre offside, it's not clear and obvious, don't rule it out.
And it needs to be for all decisions, not just if it's a red card or if it's directly a goal or if it's a penalty. Just across the pitch.
You do it seamlessly as well. That's another thing. If they need to work out a system and work out a way, which can't be that hard because so many other leagues and teams have done it. But it's more. They need to do it seamlessly, so we can be playing, and let's say they're thinking it might be a foul, but they're going to play the advantage, and the commentators will simply go, VAR will be checking that right now. The VAR check it, and it turns out no foul, and they've played on and they've scored.
Well, I'd like to listen as well to what they're saying in VAR. They do it in rugby, I think. I don't watch much rugby, but I've heard they do it.
They obviously have one on the referee as well, which something.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. I want to know what the ref and the VAR are saying.
The only thing you'd find with that is obviously that the common conception is that a football game there'll be a lot more swearing, which obviously not many games are on after 9.
I'm not so worried about hearing the ref to the player. I just want to know what's going on between VAR and the ref, because if the ref's there going, I want to know what they're saying. I want to hear them say, it's tight, I think this is a penalty, or whether they're going, I've been paid £200, give a penalty.
Yeah. What's the odds? That they do? They don't realise that they got the microphones on for this game.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, so Jurgen said £1,000 on this one. I'm thinking, okay, right, I've got Jurgen on the phone now. £2,000. Okay, no goal.
But I imagine they go to the other manager and go, "Can you match this? Can you have it?"
And that's why it takes so long. Question answered. But yeah, I think obviously we don't want to waffle on for too long about VAR. I don't know how long we've been recording for, but it's been a while, I'm sure. So any final points that there's so many things. It's hard to fit it all into one video, really, isn't it? We could do a 3-4 hour rant about it. There's so many things.
Bring the podcast back.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is that we've gone on so many tangents that it really does bring up a huge conversation in football. But what other points would you bring up, if any, to do with VAR? To finish off what's been an eventful day. And there's one more thing, actually, after this one that we'll have to get onto. Yeah. But before then, VAR.
I just think it's so inconsistent. Like, the decisions I get sometimes it's like, oh, this is offside, so surely this one's offside. But then you have so many where it's like, well, hang on, this guy's done this, but this is so much worse and it's not been ruled offside. For instance, Havertz.
Consistency.
Havertz against Arsenal was brought down 3 times in the box in very similar situations to which City were given a penalty for, literally the Saturday before that game. And it just feels like, well, if that's a penalty, then surely this is a penality. But yeah, the rules change and the decisions change every week,
frequently,
and it's just,
so it's like, I think the issue, it's definitely consistency is definitely a big part of it, because they will go worst case. So what they'll do is they'll say, okay, that is an outrageous decision, but at least if it's consistent, maybe you can say fair enough. But the issue is that there's so many decisions that you can go, right, that's the exact same situation, but you've not given the same decision for it. It's the exact same. The consistency is in the mud. Everything is in the mud when it comes to VAR, and some of it is savable. Maybe they either scrap it or they can listen to the fans and try and improve it over the summer. Try and improve the system and come back in the next season.
I think it definitely
with a quality
can be good.
system.
It definitely can be good, and it would offer a good
implemented
neutral view.
Seamlessly and correctly.
What it can do is it offers a neutral view where the refs might be biased based on what the fans do, because you notice a lot in games the fans are screaming and shouting. The ref is more likely to give a decision. So VAR should be there to give a more neutral view. Because obviously the fans
level-headed.
But then
if you've got 60, 70,000 fans shouting at you, you're going to go, okay.
VAR should be the thing that stops decisions like that going other teams' ways because of it. And it just isn't there, because it only does penalties, red cards and goals, which is stupid. It should be there for everything. But equally, it shouldn't take 3 minutes to check it.
Yeah.
For a lot of things, it's like, well, we can see that from here. It's not, or it is. But for them, it seems to take them 3 minutes.
It did feel like that, though. It did feel
annoying.
like originally when it first was implemented, it was kind of like, well, that's quite obvious. If you're going to go with that technique, it's quite obvious. Why are you taking 3 minutes to do it? Now, they're almost not quick, but they just whack out their lines. They're going, oh, yeah, that's offside by, is that half a millimetre? Offside, his toenail. If he cut his toenail, he'll be fine. So it's kind of like, not one extreme to the other, but I feel like there's different issues to what we had a couple of years ago. I think that's another reason why we have done a video today.
Backwards in technology.
Yeah, it's kind of if you want to implement your lines, you need your angles correct. You need the pixel. You need at least the pixels.
I don't agree with the lines. It's like, look at it from the naked eye. Like, we don't care if it's mathematically offside. If you look at it and go, yeah, he's miles offside, or, like, if it's been given offside, then, oh no, actually, the defender was more in front of this guy, then, but it's just so stupid some of the time. When it's like, he's offside by the sleeves on his shirt. Obviously, they're gonna wear no sleeves, so the sleeves just aren't long.
They're like armless. Like, there's just so many...
Are they expected to run like this,
are they? So many flaws with VAR. There's so many flaws with VAR. Offside. And they are, as I said, different, I feel like. There's still the issues. Some issues since 2 years ago, let's say, have improved with VAR. Some have not. Some have got worse. And as also, so as things have been, become better in the system, things have got worse. Their lines. They love their lines now, don't they? They didn't love their lines back then, but they love their lines now. Harry Rotershaw, he's got to be. He's a big fan of VAR, big fan of lines. But on that note, what's the big issue with VAR for you? Make sure to comment down below. Why do you really hate VAR? If you could say one reason. Also, before we do end off, we've got 2 big things.
Oh. Which one to go first?
3, actually. 3! 3! There you go. So, firstly, some sad news.
What's the sad news?
for those who were here, OGs of the channel, I guess you could say, earlier last year, I believe.
Hang on, should I do a close-up?
Yeah,
look, guys.
Jack copped a
Look,
what is it called? What is it called?
It's a Cereus peruvianus. It's a cactus.
He was very much alive for the last TFC live we did, and last TFC show.
Look at that.
This time round, Jack hasn't.
It's not even spiky.
Yeah, he's It's rather unfortunate for Clive, to say the least. As you can see, it's gone downhill a bit like VAR.
Because we didn't record for 2 months and I just didn't come in and I was dead.
It's rather unfortunate for Clive. Please leave your condolences down below for Clive's family, etc.
R.I.P. Clive.
R.I.P. Clive. Let's get it trending on Twitter and let him go on a good note. We'll probably still have him around the studio though.
Might get a new one.
I'm sure there's a little bit of life left in him. You know, he's maybe. Okay. Maybe second thing, just before we get to the final thing, which is a great thing. Whoa. The second.
I don't know where you're going
the
with
second
this.
announcement. TFC is now on TikTok. Everyone's favourite platform. Mr. Jazz11, would you like to tell the people about this wonderful TikTok while I load it up?
So we looked at Charlie D'Amelio, and we went, we can do that. So we have. But we're doing it football.
The football chat on TikTok. I don't know what I can show you here.
Close up. Oh, loving the focus.
It's not focusing. It's focused! There you go. The football chat on TikTok. There's currently 2 TikToks on there. And make sure to go follow us.
And 2 followers.
Is there 2? I think that's. No, we got 1 follower.
There's one.
There's 1 follower. So make sure to become the second. Be part of the start of the TFC TikTok. Maybe. And on the final note, it's a big. It's been something that that's been going for a long time. So it's almost the start of TFC. Review, ladies and gentlemen. Since we've been gone, they went through a tough period, but to finish off the season on a great note. Big up Non. They've had a great run of games. While you waffle for a moment.
Exactly what they've done. So Nantes are currently in the relegation playoff place, but if they win on Saturday and one of the 3 teams ahead of
Montpellier.
them, which are in like 10th, so 8th. Sorry, that could be a difficult game. But if they win and one of the 3 teams ahead of them fail to win, so draw or lose, the Nantes will survive. But they could still survive, obviously, because they're in the playoff zone. So that they'll play. If they go down, their
current winning streak began on the 25th of April with a 2-1 win.
I love beating
and
PSG.
Then a 4-1 win against Brest. Bordeaux 3-0 win against them. And
4-0 Dijon. It was amazing.
It was scenes. And the final non-game is against Montpellier on 8 o'clock. Is that? I'm assuming that's our time.
Yeah. So that's Saturday.
There you go. Keep your eyes peeled, and hopefully we'll have a happy non-review for the final one.
When we're live on Sunday,
yes,
we'll obviously be able to tell you all about it. So be there. TFC Live Sunday, 3:30. 3:30. Yeah, 3:30. I'm pretty sure that's right.
Big up Nantes FC. Great team. Make sure to go and they probably have a TikTok, Insta. Go follow them on all the socials and keep updated for their final game. And hopefully we can have a happy not review on Monday for the next TFC
after CFC Live.
A weekly, what we could have called that.
That was the idea, but don't know.
It's not going to be. Is it going to be weekly? Just no upload schedules in the bin. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end off now. But just a quick reminder to follow TFC TikTok, Instagram. Obviously,
everything else.
Subscribe to GM19, my other channel, my main channel, I guess you could say.
Subscribe to TFC if you
subscribe, yes,
leave
please
a like,
do.
Comment
subscribe.
below.
Leave a like, hit the notification bell to get notified whenever we go live, or upload a new video. Leave a like, it really helps us out. Comment down below your least favourite thing about VAR, maybe some
and your favourite thing.
Maybe, what's your favourite thing
and
about
your
VAR?
favourite TFC host.
And there you go. And obviously that will be me. So, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in to the first TFC video.
Back in the studio.
The studio. It's been a great one. But on that note, we will see you on Sunday for the return of TFC Live in the final game or games of the season. But until then, we will see you in the next one. Goodbye.